Hi all, well basically I'm Witman and we are playing 3 versus 3 game. I'm together with the A7 and with the testV, which are pretty good players. In the opposite camp are Daddycool, Paratoner and one other guy, all of which are pretty good. As the civilizations are concerned, there's Ethiopia, Russia and Maya. Ethiopia being the religious nation, very good for religion. And basically Russia is very good for production. You get bonus for iron. At the very starting position for Addis Ababa is pretty good. It is on the river, you get bonus gold for rivers, and it is surrounded by the mountains where later I will build mines for extra production. On our half of map we got 2 world wonders, and I also went for religion, already got a pantheon. On Pantheon you can take +1 happiness for cities on rivers, or for example for religion for world wonder, but we have banned that in advance because nobody wants to play with that. Of course at the beginning you are sending all your units to the opposite end of map to find the enemies as soon as possible. I'm stuck here on this religious choice. In the end I took +1 production for cities above 3 population. At the beginning of course I will build Stele with the Ethiopia. Stele is custom building which gives you religion and culture. As the science is concerned, we are mostly always go pottery, animal husbandry and archery for the beginning. After Stele, usually build granary, especially if you have hills. And you can see on the map that we really have lots of resources on our part. For civil, for the culture screen, we also always go on liberty and go towards the free settler basically. The beginning position for capital is pretty good. It has lots of resources including horses. My warrior has gone up all the way in the advance. Of course, to enter enemy territory we have to declare war. And now I will try to maneuver the warrior all the way in the back, trying not to get him killed, and looking forward to discover as much territory as possible. The enemy is of course doing the same. He has come to my capital. My partner will try to block him behind with his warrior, and I have built archer to try to kill him. Here we have discovered their world wonder. After Stele in the capital, I am already building a settler basically to move ahead as much as possible with the cities. Now we are trying to do a double turn, which of course we have failed, as we almost always usually do. The other players are also building settlers, and testV has built even a worker before the settler. My warrior is still alive, as you can see. We are going for the trapping and calendar in science, and we are still pursuing the enemy warrior. There are lots of resources, and even important, there is very open territory between the two capitals. So the terrain is definitely in such condition that the breakthrough in the game will have to appear in this part of the map. And here we saw that the enemy has plenty of units, and I need to retreat both with the warrior and with the archers, and try to think of the best spot to put the settlers. After the settlers, I'm building the water mill to pump up the production and population as much as possible before using up happiness with the new cities. My warrior is still retreating, and here is opportunity to steal his settler, which I will not take. Sometimes there are not many resources on the map to put cities on, because for each luxury resource you get 4 happiness, which is equal basically to the penalty, happiness penalty for founding a city. So you should always have as much cities at least as there are resources on the map. The third city is in a good spot. At this point we are going for the construction, and I'm planning a bowman rush with 5 or 6 bowmans, because I have plenty of gold in my capital, and also my partners will give me gold, especially testV, who is all the way in the back. But before bowmans are developed, researched, you have to have all the archers ready for upgrade. As you can see, partner A7 did not place yet some cities, and the map is still very much deserted in the lower part. The great library has been built, I think by the enemy team, and in all cities I am building archers to be ready for the bowman rush. Next I have to build 1 worker to upgrade the territory. And preferably another stele for faster social policy generation and for religion. My partners still have only 1 city. Their strategy is obviously to build up capital first before producing settlers, because settlers stop the growth of the capital. Enemy Russian team. Player Paratoner is Russian, and Russia usually has the biggest production. With the Ethiopia you have the bonus, combat bonus of 20% if you have less cities than the enemy team. but there are so many resources on the map that I will forfeit this bonus for the sake of number of cities. The DADDYCOOL, who is playing the Maya here on the right, he has built a city in middle ground between his and mine capital, and this is a bad thing obviously for me. My warrior is still alive, which is amazing. But I'm slowly preparing my bowman rush. He has placed his city on a hill, which is a good thing because he will get defense bonus, and there is also wood, which will prevent me from firing from some spots. Unfortunately, game speed is too big, too fast for review of demographics, but we had to make this trade-off. Archer rush is slowly building up. I am taking gold from my partners for the upgrade. We have researched mathematics, and now we are going for the construction. We have developed construction before, but we have changed at one turn to be ready for deployment when enough archers are built. I am taking all the money. But to my surprise, the enemy already has bowmen, and I have to retreat with the archers, and this is humiliating. I thought that I will place a settler in a city with a settler forward first to upgrade all archers in that city. Now I have to run back to reach my territory, because only in your territory you can upgrade your units. As you can see, all of my cities are in very good spot. I am usually manually guiding the work of worker. It is better than put the automate option. And you always develop first the luxury resources for happiness. And my warrior is still alive. Now I don't know where to place my settler, because it will, if it goes in the unknown territory, it will have to be accompanied by the archer, and I'm still thinking of the bowman rush, because I have noticed that DADDYCOOL does not have that much money. The bowman upgrade costs 55 gold. As we can see, DADDYCOOL already has 5 cities, which is a bad thing. I have only 3. But I'm still hoping that the bowman rush will succeed. The sugar luxury is very risky, because his city is close, and as we can see, there are already enemy bowmen in position. My warrior on the right has provoked a development of a city. I'm still forcing bowman production. I'm using the shift move, as you can see. With shift and right click, you ensure that all units will move simultaneously at the end of the turn. As you can see, and he was forced to retreat. I got the upgrade for warrior, experience upgrade, and I was so stupid to select 20% bonus rather than instant heal. My settler is still waiting in the third city, which is probably the most stupid thing you can do. Now I'm planning another shift right click move. As team strategy so far is concerned, we really did not pay much attention to the overall strategy, aside my bowman rush. As you can see, things are not going all that good, but the siege option is still possible. In this kind of situation, it is always the best thing to kill enemy units. And my warrior is still alive, where many others have fallen. As you can see, you need always up to 3 bowmen to kill 1 enemy bowman, and my attack is not going all that good. This is my last push to this city. Now I have decided to develop my nation a bit further, because I realize that I will fail in my attack. The daddycool has developed rather well, and he has upgraded the warrior into swordsman on the south, and this will make my life quite miserable. I got instant heal and saved my unit. And this is really the worst kind of situation, where my attack has totally dissipated in 3 directions and lost its focus. And here is my heroic warrior. I took care of him. I'm building a 4th settler. In manufacturing, I think Daddycool is now the first of all the players. The A7 has developed pretty well in the south, as you can see. There is still chance open to maybe take that city, but even if I manage to take the city, it would not hurt Daddycool much. So this is quite a risky strategy. It would cost him only 1 settler, and it is dubious whether it would be worth it. But I'm still attacking the city, because I refuse to admit my whole idea was a failure. I have a chance to kill swordsman, but I'm not that fast, and he retreated into the city. We are going for the machinery, and I'm moving the settlers. I have noticed the gems and the salt luxury in the behind, and decided to place settlers on those 2 luxuries and not to place any more cities in front. I'm still attacking the city, and this wood is giving me difficulties. And he always manages to bring up some sort of reinforcement at last minute. The workers have plenty of good work around these good hills. As of yet, it looks like my attack will still continue, but you have to always retreat damaged units to behind. I'm checking the status of my warrior melee unit, which is the only one who can take the city, but now the things look bad. At this moment it is obvious I will not have the strength to take the city. In the text box there is the reload dialogue. Apparently daddycool has exited the game and we'll have to reload. Okay, after reload daddycool has surprised me and I'm retreating with all of my units. Now I'm deciding how to retreat, not to get massacred in this process. In the capital I'm building the chariot archer, who is cheaper than the bowman and faster. And I'm also pressing forward with the Stele in one city and chariot archers in other two. Now my strategy has all gone to hell. My attack was broken up and I'm lagging in development. Fortunately enough, I have plenty of luxury resources for cities. And of course, at this point, it is obvious that far better strategy was development rather than attack. And daddycool really cleverly positioned his cities for combined defense. And I should have learned from him for development at the end of the game. Here he is pursuing with one swordsman. I am giving my workers full hands work and settlers have arrived on their luxury resources, but salt is too close to the gems and I need to move one settler to the one tile north. I'm also deciding on the granary, which is always very good in hills. And I'm trying to build a road connecting my capital and the forward city for better defense. He has positioned his swordsman in the forest and is collecting the experience points. I'm also trying to connect with roads all of my cities. The city on gems obviously provides lots of gold, and now my partners have decided to send me reinforcements. testV has 3 cities, A7 has 5 cities, which is pretty good. It is good idea to have horse in front to kill off enemy damaged unit. I have just saw a truffles and a marble resource on our part of map, and I will put cities there in the future. We have taken the religion. And I'm also putting the chariot archers in front to support the defense if necessary. My Gondar city is also in very good defensive spot, and he would really need big army to take it. The overall strategy as of yet has not been decided. The other 2 players are German, and this came to our disadvantage. Not to discuss clear strategy in advance. At this point it is definitely obvious that I need to go back to development instead of attacking. And fortunately enough, I have very good territory. The position is good for defense. There is only open strip of land on top on which the enemy can press forward, which these two bowmen are obviously trying to do. A7, partner A7 is building cities next to me to support me obviously in any way he can. Now the turn is 55, and to boost the development I have decided to build libraries. And for the special person at the end of the liberty I will choose great scientist. The clicking has really developed now. However, he has underestimated me with the attack, and now he has to go back. These instant heals can really come in handy, but you have to watch out which unit has the blue strap filled out for the next turn. The chariot archer is really handy because you can move him to distance of 3 tiles and still shoot and kill off enemy damaged unit. My settler here is going now all the way to the other end of the map to plant on truffles and marble. In the mountain cities, of course, I'm building granary. But daddycool is still first in production. As wonders are concerned, I think we are pretty equal with the opposite team. And it will be interesting to see how the game will develop. On the south, on the lower part of map, there are lots of hills, and that is basically the Maginot Line, where everybody is fortified and you cannot move anywhere. At this point I took Golden Age for 20% boost in production and for extra money, as I'm running the deficit with so many units. With each city you really have to micromanage. For example, I have 3 ships here, and each of these sheep can be upgraded. And you can get extra production with the stables. As the science is concerned, we are still going for the machinery. And I'm trying to build a defensive position. With the cities in the hill, you always have to build roads in all directions where you try to move, because roads will greatly boost your defensive and offensive capabilities. And of course always have general nearby for 20% bonus. testV still has only 3 cities, which will enable him to build all national wonders, which are of course ironworks and national treasury. All of the teams are pretty good in this game, all of the players. I noticed that the enemy players are quite good at clicking, and that really comes into play. If you click very good, you can have much lower production, or set aside part of resources for development rather than training and maintaining troops. Now the crossbows have appeared. The crossbows are usually the turning point in the game, because they are so powerful against other units. As you can see, with the shift move, entire enchilada appeared of enemy units with the horses and catapults, and he intended to take the city by surprise, but the tactics backfired, as has mine in the beginning. If the enemy team does not have crossbows, you really have great opportunity to break through. Unfortunately enough, I had plenty of gold to upgrade 4 crossbows. And of course you can always plunder your teammates for money. Now, because of much clicking, the game reloaded itself, and this usually disrupts all what is happening. And I was quick enough to kill his catapult and damaged all his other units before he managed to retreat. He is of course holding general in the center. My settler has arrived to give me truffles and gold. You cannot see on the map here, but I have plenty of happiness with all this gold, and I have taken religion. Now I'm looking what to take, because some good selections were already taken. I have decided with the happiness for extra followers in cities, and for buying pagodas with religion. Pagodas are really good cities, are really good buildings. He is still trying to press on with the attack, from another point, but this is not getting anywhere. I have now started to build Colosseums to boost up happiness, but my partners on the science screen has gone on the upper line, culture, so-called cultural line for drama and pottery, and we now decided to go for metal casting and workshops, which will boost our production because we are lagging in production. He is also not attacking with the crossbows, and you see that chariot archers really are good for finishing off even the crossbows. He is not giving up, which is a bad idea for him. But it is obvious here that the two players are attacking me. It's Paratoner and Dadycool in tandem, whereas I'm receiving very little units from testV in background, and A7 is fighting in the south. And this is really a team game, because player in behind can build all kinds of wonders, but in the end the chain is strong as the weakest link, and if the front breaks up, all the wonders in the world will not save us. As you can see, I have basically built all of the important buildings in the capital, and I am building now crossbows for defense. At this point Daddycool is still first in production, I think, but I am first in the army. Obviously this is the only way to break through. I was hoping to get all the way to the Gatling gun in the next era for the decisive battle, and as you can see here, the crossbows are really good for campaigns. Always watch for your general. You can plant cities even in the hills, so you can get 3 production for city and build a granary, and you can work another 2 tiles with 3 shields in total, being 9 shields or hammers per city, which is great. So if you build Notre Dame or take religion for happiness, you can pump up to maybe 20-30 shields this way, or 30 hammers. At this point he is still attacking with swordsmen, I don't know for what. I am guessing with each of my unit and waging where to hit the enemy, because when you attack you always have to plan to kill the enemy unit, to kill at least 1 unit and not damage 3 units. This is the most effective strategy, and you can do this in double turn. Wait for the end of the turn and then shoot twice. Again, you can see here that the 2 players are attacking me, which is not a good sign. I should have seen this at this point. I am building defensive perimeter around the city. And I must say that I underestimated the width of my opponents. Now I am sending another settler for marble to get the extra money and production, and you always have to do this, because even if the city is so far away, you don't have to build units. You can build markets and colosseums for money and happiness. There are 2 turns until metal casting is complete. And now another attack has started. And you can see clearly that 2 players are attacking me. And they are well positioned, having the crossbows in the middle and surrounded by the spearmen and horsemen. This is very good tactical position. At this point I think I become first in production, which is excellent, because then you can set aside capital for building world wonders and have other cities built and support the army. Again, double turn here, you can see. And this clicking is really important. An instant heal can save you lots of times and lots of units, and can turn the tide of the battle and decide the outcome of a game sometimes. You see, with roads units can go really long distance in one turn. And now I'm starting to build workshops and even buy some hills. I have lots of available citizens, and you always have to manually manage the city production, basically. And you have seen here how I have killed his crossbows with 4 units and retreated all of my units, which is very good if you can manage that. My settler has arrived on marble. And I'm slowly building workshops in all of the cities, not to lag behind. I'm fortifying all of the units with the F button, even the horse units and archery units. As the social policy is concerned, basically you should always take the liberty and at the end get the great person of your choice. So even with the Ethiopia I have decided to forgo the 20% bonus, military bonus, and change that for lots of cities instead. You see how I micromanage each city to ensure that I get the most resource and return damaged units to cities to repair quicker. At this point I thought that front has stabilized and they will never be able to break through. And you should always construct roads to support the front line, so you can move units in and out of the danger as necessary. And this is mandatory against better players. As science is concerned, we are going for physics. A7 has engineer, which he will use for Notre Dame and 10 happiness. Daddycool has really compact cities. I am checking demographics all of the time to see who is first in the army and who is first in production. And this is another important thing you have to do, so you don't get surprised. I am building roads to connect the front. And now you will see soon that the enemy was not going for physics, he was going for civil service. And for special units he will get with civil service. I have started to build markets. The enemy players have obviously built workshops because they are first in production. All the resources on the map, luxury resources, are taken. This is important thing. Up until the machinery and even after you can settle settlers, but not much after, because you won't be able to get national wonders. For social policy, I completed liberty and took the scientist. This is important feature. For great person, I basically choose a scientist for science to build academy. I was hesitating between general and scientist, but took the scientist in the end. Now I have picked a spot for the academy and build academy here. Scientist gives you, academy gives you 8 science plus a library. One library I got a boost of 40% in science, which is incredible basically. have so many units that I am running a deficit, and now I decided to build up wealth in capital rather than build more units. And the enemy decided to go obviously on chivalry and get the knights, as well as we. In these two distant cities I'm building colosseums and workshops. My road at the front is still being completed, and also stables are pretty good for production boost, and you should build those as well, especially if you have sheep or cows or horses. You can also buy extra hill or two for the production bonus. And now I see enemy units approaching. I have really lots of army, so at that time I was convinced we would win in the end. General is very well positioned, everybody is fortified, roads are being built. And now he attacked with the knights, and actually he managed to kill the front two crossbows with a couple of knights, and he has by this point already decimated my front line, and he has done that with the shift move. And there are also two players, as you can see, the Russian and Daddycool. I am still building my roads, and at this point I should have planted a city in the center. The city would have gave me a defensive, really well defensive position. However, it does not look that bad at this moment. I am still first or second in the army, and he's really good at attacking and withdrawing units, especially the Russian guy, the Paratoner. And now I'm trying to kill his knights, but he's very skillfully blocking them with the other units. Now I'm resuming my military production in cities. I am also wary to protect the general and complete the roads. I'm checking the demographics. And he retreated the damaged units back. I still had the time to build a settler and delay his advance. Again checking the demographics. Only now did I get the knights, which I have to bring back to territory to upgrade, horsemen to upgrade the knights. And they are still pressing their advance. And you can see how it is hard to win against two players who click at the same time. And they have obviously lots of crossbows now. At this point I should have maybe built a citadel, but I only have one general. And the knights are very strong. You can see it takes 4 crossbows to kill him. At this point I'm running low on soldiers and I'm retreating, and they seem to have the endless reserves like the Red Army. Now I have completed my road connections, but it is obvious that at this point it is already obvious that we might lose the game, or I might lose the capital. I don't know at this point whether my partners have switched to the military production and send me their units. It is obvious that the enemy is far stronger. This clicking is horrendous. But there is still no decisive breakthrough. I am searching my possibilities around the map. I am first in production, but this does not help me much. They have decided to attack the outer city. However, I am still devoting time to workers and my economy in general. He has put a knight near my capital to block my movements. This is very good. It is on the hill and it is protected by the river, so it is excellent position for a blocking unit. So you see how he has actually blocked the approaches to all of my cities, and the game reloaded. At this point the game is obviously lost. I'm still building my army, but he has destroyed all the tiles which he at one point took. We are GGing at the moment, as you can see in the text box. He is blocking approaches to other cities, and I really have far more units than I to defend. So although we as a team had bigger production, we were maybe even ahead in science, but they used 2-to-1 player advantage and broke through. And you can see Gatling gun with industrialization is far away, some 60-70 turns away, and